Huh? Huh? Huh?
Hey now, and welcome down to KC Toy Reviews. We're here today with the Toys Battalion Raven Blade, aka Corvus Glaive from Infinity War and Endgame. A member of Thanos' Black Order himself, finally in front of us in 6-scale version. Now, as always, let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say I am probably one of the most blunt and honest reviewers of 6-scale figures out there on the market. With that said, and the reason I tee it up like that, whoo, this thing is a piece of crap. I mean, I've said it about the Trick or Treat Studios Art the Clown. You know, I said that thing's a piece of crap. I started laughing. First time I've ever felt like, man, this thing's just junk. As soon as I got this thing out of the box, now I know they're on in front of the camera, but both hands immediately snapped off. So the left hand, his left hand over here, is replaced in, get this, it snapped off. I had to take a screwdriver, drill out the peg, get the peg out of there, replace it with a Mysterio peg, go into a Hot Toys, box. Not that I'm in bitch mode, but I'm gonna. When you go into a Hot Toys box, especially Mysterio, you go through like 19 layers just to get to the box. It's like literally 19 layers. So I go through the 19 layers, I get the peg, I get it back into this hand, I repair it. Insane that I had to do that. I go to mess with this side. Oh, I can't believe I smacked him. Well, you know what? That's what you get, karma. I go to mess with this side, and this side snaps off. Both hands snapped off, and I had to do repair jobs to each side. Absolutely preposterous. Not only is that insane, I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest that nobody should ever buy this figure. There should be no parts that are installed on a figure that snap off immediately. You know what? I'm not an expert in how to repair things. I was going to say, if you're not an expert in how to repair things, I don't even know what you would have done. I'm not. I kind of panicked. I kind of just figured out things and winged it. However, I got it back into place so I can take decent pictures, but my God, this is the first time in 12 to 13 years of collecting that I've ever had a 1/6 scale figure out of the box where both hands just snapped immediately. So, wow, biggest piece of junk I've ever seen. With that said, when it came out of the box, I was actually pleasantly surprised. It has the same, under here, the exact same material as Ebony Maw and Proxima Midnight. This really weird printed plastic material. It feels really garbagey. I'm just really surprised because these pieces that you see here that are printed, that's actually supposed to be a metal plate, here. So they clearly went an extremely lazy way out to replicate that look. With that said, the look of him doesn't look too far off from the way he looked in the movie. So, as much of a piece of crap this thing is, they didn't do a horrible job at replicating the look. I went through and scrolled through pictures as soon as he came in to say, you know what, I guess he does look similar. And, some of the stuff like this here could have sat a little bit more baggy, loose, and weathered. Obviously, it's completely new material, and it's very stiff, and it doesn't lay the way it should on the figure itself. So another kind of lazy route, I guess, should I say, because, again, if you use more of a cloth, it would have sat better. It's like this, I don't even know the way to describe it, like a plasticky type material. Even this thing, like a felt material or something almost. It's definitely not cloth. I don't know what it is. It's the cheapest route that they could have went. And kind of swinging back to the reason I said I was pleasantly surprised when I pulled them out of the box, and I think most people can see right in shot, the head sculpt in the initial look is really not that bad. The Proxima, because it was printed in all this junky plastic material, was just awful. I mean, that thing out of the box was really, really crappy. This thing has that junky material, but we have some layers on top of it. A little bit of a printed belt here. This is more of a hard plastic. These layers of this felt material, the hood, a really good face sculpt in my opinion. I'll zoom in a little bit later, but decent face sculpt. So definitely better than Proxima, but I guess just swinging back, I just can't even goddamn believe that both the hands snapped off. And the fact, I'm going to show you. This thing right here, this is what I used. I used this. Imagine having to use a DeWalt on $180 figure. No, I don't. So the face sculpt itself, I thought was actually pretty goddamn good. Way better than Proxima. I mean, I wasn't super disappointed with Ebony Maw, or whatever the hell it was called, Space Wizard. But this one, I think, out of the three, is definitely the best out of the face sculpts. I would say that even the camera's not necessarily picking up the proper shadows and the darkness to some of it. So, take it with a grain of salt, what you see right here. I really, truly think the face sculpt is decent. The hand snapped off, so I still don't think you should buy the figure, but the face sculpt is pretty decent. So happy with that, I guess. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know what the hell's going on with these feet also. They're hinged in there really oddly. I'm not going to mess with it too much, but you can almost get this thing like angled all the way over here and still have the leg shooting straight down. So they're really ball jointed or hinged, however you want to call it. In there really oddly, but man, those feet just look really gnarly. I don't know why, it just looks really gnarly. Maybe they should have had more detail or something, but man, those feet are just terrible detail and just really look crappy. They should have done something better, or again, just upped it on the detail on those feet. That's weird as hell. And lastly, what I want to note as always is what you see is what you get. I think he has two other pairs of hand, kind of like a claw-ish hands and two fist-type hands. I'm so sick in my stomach that both the wrists and the hands snapped off, so I don't even want to show off the rest of the hands, nor do I normally, because they're just another pair of hands, but all he has is the stand and the weapon. On that note, the weapon was decent quality, decent weight. I mean, it's probably one of the best things out of the figure, the weapon and the face sculpt. And of course, something that I always rant about, it did come with a stand. It's kind of that Hot Toys, what I'm starting to classify as a crappy quality stand. So Toys knocks it out of the park with their stands. Not only did they clip in there, some of them screw in and they have some decent weight to it. So is the king of 1/6 scale stands out there, but at least it came with a stand. It has a weird grassy look. I'm sure we're trying to replicate the Infinity War last scene when they're battling against Wakanda. That's my guess, but does come with a stand, so happy to report that part. Let's go ahead and wrap this up and slap a score on this guy. Obviously, extremely disappointed that not one, but both of the hands snapped at the wrist. The pegs got stuck inside the arm, type of snap, as soon as I got him out of the box. So very disappointed at the quality of this guy. I'm going to take it into play, and kind of balance price, what happened, quality in front of me. I hate to say it, this officially might be one of the lowest scores I've ever given, because I feel like I'm truly only scoring the head sculpt and the weapon. The rest of it is complete junk. The fact that it's snapping on me and I'm using a goddamn DeWalt screwdriver with a 1/6 scale figure out of the box. A shy of a $200 figure that I'm using a DeWalt drill on. 4.9 out of 10. One of the lowest scores KC Toys has ever given. 4.9 out of 10. Toys Battalion, Raven Blade, I don't even know what to say. This whole lineup has just been garbage, dare I say. If you look at the comments of the community, the things that I'm sharing, the overall consensus is garbage, all three of these things. Interestingly enough, on the back of the box, if you noticed in the beginning of the review, they do show all four guys. We do see Cull Obsidian on the back, so I'm not sure if that's their way of teasing that Cull is on the way, but all I can say is Toys Battalion, or whatever the hell you guys brand yourself as going forward, let's just make sure his joints and everything aren't snapping outside the box, because that's what happened with the guy in front of me, and I was genuinely excited to get him. And that's coming from a guy that has Space Wizard. I forgot what even Proxima was called. I have both of them, and I know, and I was prepared for that kind of level of disappointment. Excited as I saw him, disappointed as I touched him. Things snapping in front of me, so 4.9 out of 10. Casey Toys, Toys Battalion, Cull Obsidian, Infinity War, Endgame, Corvus Glaive. Curious what's next.
Huh?